Hi everyone, Chelsea Odum here in our gallery space at the Resource Depot, and I'm with artist Sonya Sanchez Arias, and she's going to talk a little bit with us about her piece I Am and our recent third annual Waste to Wonder exhibition.
Hi, it's so nice to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this wonderful show. This piece is called I Am. It's all made with recycled materials. The inspiration behind it, my pieces usually start with a thought, and I had just taken a meditation course, and so it was the perfect time for me to sort of try and focus on something that was positive. The piece is called I Am. It represents that it really comes from, there's an African word called Ubuntu, which means I am because we are. And it really represents that none of us can survive on our own. We all need community. We all need people. We are because I am because you are is pretty much the message. It is made with, the base is made with paper. It's a wire bracket, and I braided paper and created this sort of a basket that's all just stitched together with wire. The center flame here is made of recycled forks. All the tines are like individually heated and curled, and then the base of it is yarn, and the beads are made from straws that are heated and twisted and melted. And then I use the colors black and gold because I just felt that it represented the negativity and the enlightenment coming out of that negativity. I used gold leaf to sort of represent the enlightenment. And the yarns here flowing through these straws, which really represent our challenges that we always have to overcome. And this is, for me, representing community and all the people. So it's made totally out of recycled materials, and it was a fun piece to make.
It's absolutely beautiful, and we've gotten so many comments. I think people are blown away when they realize what it's made out of. Many of the artists in this exhibition were new to reusing within their artwork, but you are very experienced in that. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I use a lot of all different kinds of materials. I also do photography, and even in my photography, when I'm framing the pieces, even my subject matter, sometimes I will try to add recycled materials, fabrics, things that I find. So I've been recycling and using different materials, alternative materials, for years. But in my mixed media assemblage pieces, they're totally made with found objects, recycled pieces, sometimes mostly plastic, sometimes very organic. It just depends on the theme. What materials I use, pretty much. Yeah.
What's your favorite material to use and why?
I don't really have a favorite material. I think I have so many of them. It's kind of like asking a parent who their favorite child is. It depends on the projects, I think. All of my pieces begin with a thought, and so it's either inspired by a quote or something I read or something that's happening, current affairs. And so the materials I choose really have to help me interpret that concept. So sometimes it's all plastics because I'm angry about single-use plastics and throwing away. And sometimes the materials are really help me portray that concept. So sometimes it's organic, but also plastic utensils. That's a big one for me. That shows up in a lot of my work. And sometimes a lot of my work will have fibers also, yarns, threads, fibers. That's a very important symbol for me, using threads in my work.
When people look at your work, what do you hope they walk away with?
Oh gosh, possibilities. I think that's the number one answer for me. Possibilities, an alternative point of view, transformation. A lot of people do make work out of recycled materials, but you know what they are. And I love, my favorite thing is when someone comes up to me and I'll show them a ring or I'll show them a piece and they have no idea what it was made of. I mean, that's really taking it sort of to the next level. So you're not just using recycled materials, but you're pushing the envelope and taking it further. I'm really not interested in what people like in my jewelry. I'm not interested in what you think jewelry should be. I'm interested in what jewelry could be. I feel the same way about all my pieces. I really want to push it to the next level as much as, and I really think of myself more like a mad scientist than an artist. I really do a lot of experimentation with materials to see how far I can take it. So it's a journey. It's a great adventure, actually.
I think that's such a great phrase. It's not what it should be, it's what it could be. I think that's fabulous. And if we took that phrase and looked at so many things in our society that way, we would evolve so much more.
Absolutely, but not only that, I mean, we have to start thinking about uses for alternative materials. And I think through art, and artists are constantly showing you that it's not just, you can really push the envelope and have a different point of view and reconsider. I like that I can take an item that was created for one use, maybe a dinner party or a party, and now I have totally transformed it and given it a new reason for existing. So materials now have a new history and they belong to something else and somewhere else. So I think that's really important. Agree with you on that, sure.
Growing as an artist, maybe growing up or currently, who, like other artists, or what inspires you the most?
Well, I was born in Trinidad. I'm from Trinidad. And so we have an amazing carnival culture. So that in itself, there's a lot of creativity. I also want to say that, Trinidad invented the steel drum, the steel pan, and that's amazing recycling right there. It was old oil cans that have been turned into a modern day instrument, and it's turned into this phenomenal instrument where there are huge orchestras, so that's a huge thing. But my mother, I would have to say, is probably, my biggest role model. She was an artist. And not only was she an artist and amazingly creative, but all of her friends were artists. So as a young person, I grew up in this extremely creative environment. One of my mom's very good friends is Peter Minshall, and he was one of the artists that did the opening and closing ceremonies for the Barcelona Olympics, the Atlanta Olympics, the Salt Lake City Winter Olympics, and the kind of creativity, another one of her friends, Mei-Ling, is a fashion designer. She's one of the top fashion designers down there. And you cannot be around people like that and not have some of it rub off on you, a little bit of osmosis, so I was really blessed to be around such creative thinkers that would come together and just have whole afternoons of conversation about the possibilities, and they would help each other out. They would work together on projects that would take those projects to the next level. So I think my mom is really, she was the biggest influence for me, for sure. Yeah.
That is so sweet and amazing that you were able to have that kind of atmosphere to grow up in.
Yeah, I'm truly, it's really a blessing. And then there's so many artists. When I go to like Art Basel, or I go to some of the cultural arts art fairs, and there's so many talented people. I'm so inspired. I'm so inspired by work right here in this gallery of some of the other artists that have taken other materials and the way they interpret those materials. It's just, it's inspirational. So it's very exciting, and using alternative materials, reusing, recycling, repurposing. We can't ever run out of materials. I mean, the possibilities are endless. There's so much to work with.
Well, before we go, is there anything else you want the audience to know?
No, just, I really would like to encourage people to think outside the box, think of alternative ways. Don't just look at a product that you just drank water out of or took your cream out of and, oh, that's a pretty, and you just throw it in the trash. I really want to encourage people to collect these things, to repurpose these things, to donate these things to places like Resource Depot so that artists like me and artists like the other artists involved in this exhibition have the opportunity to take those materials and repurpose them without having to buy anything. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sonya.
You're welcome. Thank you, Chelsea.
And we hope to have you in another one of our shows.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.